Yeah, whoever put this previous one on when I went to get it serviced deserves to get kicked. Shouldn't be that hard. Hello everyone, this is Kid Hero, and the light is exceptionally bright. I'm gonna have to turn this camera because I'm gonna be squinting at you guys the whole time. 1 second. Okay, we can make that work. Hello everybody, this is Kid Hero, and today actually going through some of my to-do lists. We're actually going to be changing the oil on the 2018 Ford F150 XTS. As vehicles get newer, they're a lot easier to work on. I've worked on my fair share of old vehicles. I've had some real shiny turds or rolling bricks. This one is actually one of the more simplified versions for changing the oil. Oil change specifically on this vehicle, what you're going to need is a oil pan to collect your oil. Obviously, the new oil filter, you can use Motocraft or you can use a competitor. I'm using the STP. It is the S10590 by STP. We'll show it right there. And of course, I'm using full synthetic STP oil. I actually have 6 of these. So make sure that you're not putting short of oil into your vehicle, especially if you have a full-size vehicle. I know in some cars you can get away with a gallon, but others require 5 or 6 for them to get done. So what you're going to need to do is, I actually have the hood already popped up. I'll show you why we need a funnel because of the positioning, and then we'll go underneath the vehicle. For some vehicles it does require a jack. I can actually get underneath the truck, so I don't need a jack or jack stand or anything like that. I do, however, still use cardboard or a lawn bag, and that just prevents me from accidentally having any oops moments on my driveway. That way I'm not cleaning oil off of the ground. So let me go ahead and move the camera up top, that way you can see what's going on, and we'll go from there. Okay, looking into the engine bay, oil filler is actually located right here where my finger is at. And obviously trying to get one of those, or even the full-size one down here, is going to be pretty impossible, or we're going to end up spilling it. So obviously a funnel is definitely going to help us out. First thing we're going to want to do is lay down our piece of cardboard or the lawn bag, like so. And then we're going to want to crawl underneath there. We are underneath the vehicle. This is the driver's side that I am pointing at. I am actually underneath, if this is the rear part of the front tire, this is the cross support. I'm actually going to peek around, and you see this yellow cap. This is actually the oil plug, believe it or not. On these newer Ford trucks, they actually made it to where you don't need a tool to remove it, which is actually a little scary when you think about it. I think it's nice that they actually put it up higher, but the fact that this is only a finger to 2 fingers away from the sway bar kind of concerns me. I think this could have been a little bit better designed, but I kind of understand what they were trying to do. Try to reposition this oil pan and see if I can unplug this thing while holding the camera, which is probably going to be bad news bears, and then drain the oil. But let's see if I can get this. It needs to be pushed in and then turned counterclockwise like that. We're going to turn it completely and it should pop off. Hopefully, I can get my hand in there. Again, the sway bar is just a problem. Okay, it's gonna come out here in a second. Okay, so since it's wanting to come out pretty fast, we're gonna reposition the oil pan. But again, the way the oil hits that sway bar, I think is a really stupid design. Because even still, if I have my cardboard here, then I have oil dripping from the sway bar and I need to wipe that crap off. And if I pull the plug out all the way, it's just gonna make even more of a mess. Yep, I see right there. That crap right there. That's why this is a terrible design. So now I have to babysit this plug. this is kind of like a corkscrew style plug. Let me pull this out that way you can see it a little bit better. It has kind of a thread driver with a green O-ring. Okay, so I got my rag. I'm gonna try to get up in there and wipe that sway bar off. Just like that. And there's two main reasons why I'm cleaning it off. The first main reason is I don't want to drip oil everywhere. So the second reason is the more important reason, is to confirm that I installed it correctly. Again, you want to wipe any oil that could potentially drip. That way, if any oil does drip in the future, you'll be able to tell if it was possibly a mistaken installation. As you see, I wiped all the oil and stuff completely off of here. I wiped the oil off of there. Okay, so the next part that we're actually gonna do, since we did drain the oil, we do need to swap the oil filter. If we come forward towards the vehicle, there is a front column here. There's actually a lot of space in this spot right here. This is actually a really good design, especially if you have a lift. It's to allow the tech to stick his head here and be able to physically look at the front of the block. The oil filter is right here. It's very accessible, and as you can tell, I have probably about 3 feet that I can stick my arm up and about a foot up this way, so I can actually lay on my back and grab this, or I can use my oil filter removing tool. Basically what you can do, you can try to see if this is on super duper tight. If it is, you're not going to be able to do it by hand. You will need to use an oil filter tool if it's stuck, but what I try to do when I put them on is I actually lubricate them just a little bit with your finger. That way it prevents them from seizing up, but still allows you to put them on tight enough. Okay, I got the wrench on there. It actually took me a while to get this thing started. They had it on there so tight. You notice I actually dented it right here. You have to be very careful when trying to do this. If you damage it and can't get it off and it has a hole in it, then you can't technically drive your vehicle somewhere to get it fixed, because if you can't hold oil, you'll destroy the engine. But you need to do this carefully enough to where, as you can see, that's slowly rotating. We just want that to rotate far enough to where the oil will start draining, and there's actually this little pan here, so when I get this thing loose, I need to get my oil pan ready and position where my stomach is at. Yeah, whoever put this previous one on when I went to get it serviced deserves to get their kicked. Shouldn't be that hard. Oh, see, the oil's coming down. And get the oil pan into position. It should be oh, It pulled a fast one on me. It did not go in the direction intended. Okay, instead of going down the little trail here, it decided to go back and started leaking back this way onto the concrete, which defeated the purpose. What I had going on. If I would have left it where it was, it would have been all right. Yeah, it's all going to drain back there. Okay, let's go ahead and take this thing off. We're going to be very careful not to drop this thing and spout oil everywhere. Just put that right there. We're gonna inspect, make sure there's nothing stuck on there. Clean that off using our clean rag. We'll also clean off this area right here to make sure it's not dripping oil everywhere. Okay, one thing that I do recommend you do in order to prevent it from being so difficult, and I apologize, there's a lot of wind and it's blowing leaves and stuff around. I'm trying to have the sun behind me, that way you can see me. It's not having the strong glare. Unfortunately, it's not working out too well. But what I recommend before putting the new oil filter on, take the new oil filter. You're going to prime the oil filter by putting your clean oil a little bit on the inside of it. That way your oil pump and the filter don't have to work as hard. The next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to put a little bit of oil onto the rubber gasket or seal that's on there. This prevents it from being rock hard and sticking to the actual metal, so that way you don't have to crush the old one in order to get it off. Nothing should be so difficult to where it feels like it's gonna break when you're trying to take it off. Metal contracting and expanding and everything. So we're gonna go ahead and install this, and then we're gonna fill up the oil up top funnel in place. I have the oil plug underneath reinstalled. I have the oil filter reinstalled. As you're pouring the new oil in there, you want to briefly check down below to make sure you don't have any leaks. Because worst thing that you would want to happen is you're pouring this stuff in and then your oil is just going straight on the pavement or the grass or wherever you're working. Okay, so we have 2 steps left. The first step that you're going to do is you're going to put the old oil back in the containers that you originally had your new oil in. Put your old oil from the oil pan back into those containers. Use your rag, wipe it clean, put it into that plastic bag, and then the car supply, just AutoZone, O'Reilly's, and some of these other places do take the used oil for free. Now we just need to reset the oil light indicator that's on your dash. Now depending upon the model of your vehicle, they tend to have different steps for this. Sometimes they have you quarter turn the key. You press down on the accelerator quickly 3 times, and on the 3rd time you hold it down. On this Ford vehicle, you actually go into settings, which I'll show you right here. You go settings, advanced settings, vehicle, oil reset, and it says, okay, I had 1%, I just changed my oil, so I hold okay. It will reset, and now I'm back at 100%. So that is how you change your oil on a 2018 or 2019 Ford F150 STX, and how you reset the indicator light. I hope this was helpful for somebody out there that drives this truck. Obviously, this type of video is a little bit different than what we normally do on the channel, but I do like working with my hands, I do like building stuff, and I do love working on cars and motorcycles. So, if you appreciated this video or you found it useful, hit the like button. If there's something in particular you'd like to see in the future, leave a comment down below. I'd like to hear what people are working on. I appreciate you watching as always. Have a wonderful week. This is Kid Hero, and I'll see you next time.